Well, good evening, everybody. How are you all doing tonight? Thank you so much for joining us. We are going to get started in just a few minutes. I would ask that if you would to go ahead and start a couple of watch parties, and I am going to do the same and also share the broadcast and let people know that we're on and we will be getting started. I am super excited tonight about our guest, and we're going to have a great conversation. Uh, it's going to be wonderful. But then I say that every week, don't I? Well, just work with a sister. My watch party is beginning. It always tells me to get popcorn, which I do not have. But we'll wait a few minutes for a couple of more people to come on, and we will get started.
Awesome.
Thank you all for logging on tonight. Thank you for being a part. Uh, don't forget to give StreamYard permission to share your comments. If you would, make sure you're using Chrome. That's the best way to get information on. Hey, Christina, how are you? Thank you for logging in. Hey, Miss Val, how are you? Thank you all for logging in tonight. It's going to be a great conversation. I'm looking so forward to it. I just love this guy to pieces. He is just really special to me. So hello, Redonia, how are you? Thank you all for tuning in. We're going to get started. Just give us about 30 more seconds and we'll go ahead and get started. If you would, go ahead and make sure you start a couple of watch parties and share the broadcast so that we can get more people on, because it's a great topic tonight. I think more people, they say, hey, my cousin Curtis Smith, hey, how are you? More people said that there are more dreams than the grave that are in the graveyard
Yes.
than have been actually lived out. So we're excited to talk about dreams tonight. I am honored. We'll go ahead and get started. I'm so honored tonight to have a special young man on tonight. He's special. He's dear to my heart. We don't talk as much, but when we do talk, we just let it all hang out. We get everything we need to
Absolutely.
get done covered. We can go to a dinner or lunch and we can stay 3-4 hours. Just talk. Hey, Sophie, thank you for being on tonight. Tonight, hello, Michelle. Thank you for being on. Tonight we have Pastor Alex Brown on tonight. I'm so honored. He's my godson. I've already
Yes.
claimed him, so he's
That's
just my
right.
godson. So he got it going on. I will say that. Uh, we're going to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about daring to live the dream. I
Yes.
really believe that everybody that's breathing has a destiny, has a purpose for being here, or either you wouldn't be here. That's just the way I feel. I don't think God would allow you to come to this place without a purpose,
Yes.
without a dream. And I think that purpose lines up with our dream, with what we are destined to do. So I'm excited tonight to talk to Pastor Alex about it. Hello, Sherelle and Leah. Hey, Leah. The wifey is on.
Uh-oh, the wifey
Yay.
is on.
The wifey is on. Hey, Simone. So, but before we get started into our conversation, Pastor Alex, would you go ahead and tell people about your products, about how they can reach you, about your website and all of that to begin with?
Absolutely. We started a enterprise a few years back, designed to create content, communicate, media, all those various things. And so our website is the letter B, as shown on the screen there,
Mm-hmm.
bcandaco.com.
Mm-hmm.
We do our own clothing line, our own apparel line, and we launched a book in August. So just a little over a month ago, that's it. Think it be a live it. A little bit over a month ago. And I tell you, the support has been incredible. Oh, it's been so incredible. So we're extremely thankful for sure.
All
Absolutely.
right, all right. Thank you so much. So, as I said, I believe that everybody that's born, everybody that God allows to come to this place, to earth, comes with a purpose, comes with a destiny, comes with some
Yeah,
type of mission that he wants us to fulfill. Um,
absolutely.
Talk to us a little bit. First, let me ask you, how are you doing during the pandemic? Let me get that out of the way. How's that going?
Yes, I tell you, like much like those who will watch this, like it's definitely been like a year that's just full of uncertainty.
Uh-huh.
We found this recently though, like the values that we had in place even prior to this
Hmm.
have become stronger.
Yeah.
So for us and our family and our business, it's made us really focus and
Hmm.
chisel in what matters most. And
Yeah.
so at this time, despite everything that's happening, we're actually in a strong place, and we are thankful for that. We really are.
Amen. Amen. And how are
Absolutely.
the kids dealing with being home? Now, are they doing digital learning or are they going into class?
Yeah. So we are. They're doing digital learning. I
Uh-huh.
have three, and I
Uh-huh.
think because they are with one another, they
Uh-huh.
kind of get that community piece.
Yes.
Uh, and there's a lot of fussing that comes with that too. But all together, they're doing good though.
Good. Well, make sure you give Lady Leah plenty of breaks because three all day long,
Yes,
it makes
I
me
definitely
nervous.
will do.
Woo, that makes me a little
Yes.
nervous. Hey, Mike Bryant, how you doing? Thank you for joining. So you have several things going on right now. You are a pastor, you're a husband, you're a dad, you're an entrepreneur, you're an author. Uh, uh, how did you know that your destiny included all of those things?
Absolutely, that's a great question. So honestly, when I was around 8 or 9 years old,
Uh-huh.
I didn't know I was doing this. My mom would tell me, she was like, Alex, all the kids or family would be playing like a game with toys or what have you, and you would just wander off like by yourself, and we have a hard time finding you in the house sometimes. Like you would just be off on your own. And what I didn't tell anyone at that age is like I started having these dreams. I started
Wow.
envisioning things that I'd never been exposed to, and it was really shocking to me. And so what I didn't know were like these seeds were being planted at even that age.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And over the years, it was just further cultivated in everything that I did. But it's around that age, 8 or 9, is when the
Wow.
seed began to show.
So did you know at that time that you wanted to be a pastor or that you wanted to have your own clothing line or that you were going to write a book? Did you know that before time?
I did it.
Wow.
Honestly, at that age, my biggest thing was my family, a single family household struggled a lot. All I knew
Uh-huh.
was I don't want my mom to struggle anymore. That's all
Wow.
I knew at that age. It's not until I would say my younger 20s, right out of college, that I began to have these ideas for books and apparel and short
Uh-huh.
film and all of
Uh-huh.
those things begin to bud. And since then, it has not stopped. It's only intensified,
Wow. Wow.
for
Wow.
sure.
So what would you tell someone that they know that there's more to them than just their regular 9 to 5. They know that they were meant to do more. What would you tell? How would you tell them to I don't know, find out what it is that they've been called to do?
Absolutely. I will share this. I believe this. I wholeheartedly believe this.
Uh-huh.
Imagine this for a moment for all the dreamers, those who want more. That before we got here,
Yeah.
God had a thought,
Yeah.
right? God had this thought, and when He had this thought, it eventually grew into Him
Hmm.
sending this individual person into the
Hmm.
earth.
Hmm.
And whatever that thought was that he sent us here with the purpose, like a problem to solve, to be a solution, to be here for this brevity of time. And so our purpose here is to as much as possible see the unfolding of that thought that God had.
Wow.
And so that's just
Wow.
really what I'm about.
Okay.
Like I want to see it. I don't want to leave any stone unturned.
I
Anything.
saw. I saw this video years ago from Bishop Jakes that he did. Uh, oh, I can't think of the name of it, but he talked about when before we come to earth, we're with Jesus, and Jesus says you're going to go down and you're going to do A, B, C, D. You're not going to remember this conversation, but there you're going to be doing all of these things. It is such a powerful video.
Wow.
And you're going to be born into this woman. You're going to be born into this family. You're not going to remember this, but there is purpose. You are going to earth for a purpose. Every
Yes.
time I look at that DVD or CD, sorry, whatever you call it, it just makes me realize that we're here for purpose. We're just not here. I think we're here to do a thing or some things, and then we return. Even though
Yes.
death is hard for us,
Yes.
we've been so fashioned to believe that people are supposed to live forever and ever and ever and ever. They never die. And it's hard. Death is really hard. That transition is really hard for the people that remain. But I really believe that we're here for purpose. We're here to do a thing, and then we go back.
That's right.
I ain't ready now. God, don't get me wrong. I still got some more stuff to do. But I think in all of that. Hey Ashley. Hey Pastor Clark. Prophetess Clark. How are you tonight? I think we're all here for purpose. All of that destiny and that purpose, all of that stuff kind of intertwines.
Totally agree.
Yeah, so it's, and sometimes I can be kind of warped in my thinking, but I really believe that we were with God before we came here. We came here to do a job, and then we're going to return to Him. I really do believe that. Hey Curtis, hey Karen, hey Cassandra and Natasha. Thank you all for joining tonight. Michelle says we were in God's imagination. Now we're in God's manifestation. Okay then.
That's good. That's really good.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, come on now. Let's get it going. So, how did you know that you had a book on the inside of you? When did you realize that one of your goals or one of your dreams was to write a book?
Absolutely. The thought of just communication began to fascinate me when I realized that God had given me something that I didn't know I had, but others begin to recognize it. So many don't know this, but growing up, I had a really bad speech impediment, like really, really bad, where I would not talk in school because I couldn't get a sentence out. It was really, really bad. And so for me, I always thought this was forever going to be how my life was. But shortly after high school, really getting into college, I had to do a public presentation. And I was struggling with it. All right. I'm struggling with the thought of it. I get up and I do it. It's like 5 minutes. And my professor is just speechless and just staring at me. I'm thinking, I definitely failed that. That was horrible. And it's then that my professor began to cultivate and bring things out of me that I did not know was in myself. And I didn't know this, but in college, I began to pen thoughts. And those thoughts would, in fact, some of them are in the book that we just released in August. But the book began to show around 21, 22 years old, when I was still doing all kind of foolishness. The thought began to stir there about, one day I'm going to do this. For sure.
Wow. Ashley, Danielle said, come on, Moses. Hey, Kevin. So what would you tell someone? No, I don't want to go there. I want to go that you had to step out of your comfort zone.
Yes.
Even in college, you had to step out of your comfort zone to do something that you didn't even know, or you didn't even think that you could do. I think sometimes we think that in order for us to reach our destiny or to reach our purpose or do the dreams that we feel that's on the inside of us, we can stay in our comfort zone and do those things. Sometimes we can't stay in our comfort zone. Sometimes we have to, do like Peter and step out on that water. If God is telling me, come on, I got you, then we need to step out, even though family members or friends may be saying, no, man, ain't nobody ever done that in your family. No, you can't do that. No, girl, I don't know where you got that idea from, but you need to take it back. But if God says step out, then I encourage you to step on out, because he got you.
Absolutely.
He got you.
Absolutely.
I talked a couple of weeks ago about you gotta use that faith that you say you have. I mean, you've been going to church all these years. Now it's time to put some of that stuff to practice. You say you need God. You say you trust in God. Well, now it's time to put some of that to. So when you were stepping out to fulfill some of your dreams, did you have any fears or were you concerned about what people were going to say?
Absolutely. Every single time that I would want to begin to start something, right? Fear would get extremely loud for me. And I would have every excuse in the world to go back until I had this thought. And I want to share it. The thought that I had was this: okay, I know I'm supposed to do this, right? One of three things are going to happen. I'm either going to drown in the water, I'm going to learn how to swim, or walk on water.
Come on now.
One of the three are going to happen. And so I just determined in my mind, I'm not going to allow this thing to stop me from trying. Like, if I'm going to fail, I'm going to fail big, really big. Yeah. And I learned this. One of three things, even it happened every time. I either learn to swim while in the water, or this thing of walking on water when it comes to buying my first home right out of college, starting businesses, all that kind of thing. It felt like a walking on water experience. Because I realized this: I'm really not walking on water. I'm walking on His word. And His word can hold me up. So
come on, absolutely. Yes, you better preach. His word. You're not walking on water. You walking on His word. You walking on His promises. You walking on what He told you.
That's
wow.
It. That's it. You know something amazing about this? My son is 7 years old. I can tell my son at this age anything, and because his daddy said it, he believes it can happen.
Yes,
that's the place we have to operate from as we're moving forward. Like, I received the word from someone that I trust more than anyone else, and because he said it, he wouldn't have said it if he didn't give me everything I need to accomplish it. And we're in that place now of just trusting in a ridiculous way.
Yes.
And it's like, we're doing so much. Absolutely.
Michelle said we sometimes say we trust God, but we have to trust ourselves to trust God. Well, okay, then come on. Yes, absolutely. Tell me a little bit about the part that your friends or your village or the people that are in your circle, what part did they play? Did they encourage you? How were they when you were talking about doing these, going after your dreams?
Absolutely. You know, something amazing about that is, like, I've seen my village form when I dared to live the dream. Like, when I went for it, the village that I thought I had that was going to walk me through it would drastically shift. And so it's amazing that as you begin to step into what God has called you to, He begins to shift the trajectory of who's around you. And when he begins to put people in your village that can help what He gave you, like, get legs.
Yes.
So for me, I wouldn't have found them unless it's going to sound crazy, unless I just said yes. When I said yes to what He was saying and just stepped out, the village began to form around what He told me to do.
Wow, that's amazing. That is absolutely amazing. It is so important that we have people a part of our village who can speak life into us, who can say, now you're not giving up on that. We're not gonna give up. We're gonna keep going. I remember when I was putting out my first book and I tried to go through a traditional publisher, and I kept getting all of these rejection letters. I think I could wallpaper a bedroom with the number of rejection letters that I got, but my village would not allow me to quit. They said, well, no, this needs to be published. There is another way to do this. We don't have to necessarily go. We can, God meant for some. We're gonna use somebody else. So there are people in your circle that can encourage you. I think I said this last week. I remember when I was going through my divorce and I was depressed and just, didn't want to do nothing, just in my own little funk. I had people in my village, two of my friends who are friends today, saying, get up. They didn't say it that clearly, that plainly. They used some choice words, but they said, get up, no, we going to dinner. You've been here long enough. So let's get up and go. So we need people in our village that's going to support us, that's going to speak truth to us, and that's not going to let us fall by the wayside. We got to have those people that we respect and that will speak to us. It's imperative. Even there's going to be some people. It reminds me of Jesus. There are going to be some people, the 12, but then there were. I guess that would make that 8 or 9 that was on the outside. Then there was 3 that was really close to him.
Certainly.
So and sometimes, as you said, the village changes. You don't have the same people don't stay with you forever. There may be a couple of 3 that stays with you forever, but there may be some people that go in and out. And sometimes we have an issue with determining is this relationship for a lifetime or is this relationship for a season, and be okay with it.
Absolutely.
Sometimes we try to make people, seasonal people, be lifetime people, and that can mess you up.
Absolutely. You know, something big with what you're sharing there, I had to learn it the hard way, right? That when I would think about doing something, what was oftentimes holding me back is that I was looking for people to agree with me.
Yeah.
Right. And so what happened is when I stopped trying to get everyone to agree before I began, that's when I was able to step out, and the right people, right, with different perspectives would come in and cultivate the idea. But as long as I was looking for it just for people who would agree with me, who thought it was a good idea, who thought it was okay, when I got beyond that, it was a game changer.
Yes, absolutely. Those people that are pushing you in your back and saying, you can do this, you're not going to stop this. I know somebody that can help you. And then when they have the right connections, you don't have to work as hard. I have a couple of people in my life who'd have a couple of connections that I didn't have. Or a couple of people that know a couple of things that I didn't know. And they said, well, no, girl, you don't need to do that. Why don't you try doing it this way? Had no idea. It worked.
That right there.
Yeah, you gotta have it. When you start out going after your dream, sometimes your family is not going to understand. They may not be the ones that will walk through with you through this time. You can still love them, but maybe they're not the ones to walk with you to your destiny, to your purpose.
That's right.
Maybe they're not the ones to be with your inner circle.
Wow.
You still love them. You still call them on Mother's Day and all of that. But when you're talking about going after your dream to do what God has told you to do, sometimes they're not going to understand. When I look at my own family, when I talk to them about my purpose and what I think I've been called to do on the earth, they don't necessarily understand it. They really don't. And it's not that they're bad people or they're ignorant people. That's just something they don't understand. And it's absolutely okay.
Yes.
I can still love them as my family, but they can't be in my inner circle as I'm going toward destiny.
So true. So true and needed.
Yeah. Danielle says, that'll preach. She says, stop waiting on people to agree with you before you begin. Absolutely. Redonia said, you are talking. It's just imperative when God has called you to do a thing. You can't let money, you can't let people, you can't let yourself stop you from going after your dream. You just can't. And sometimes we hinder ourselves.
That's right.
Because of fear, because of lack of money, or or you just don't know where to begin. But I would encourage you just to make the first step. Start writing stuff down. Start writing out your plan. When I wrote my first book, I I wasn't planning on writing a book. I wasn't even thinking about writing a book. I didn't think I was an author. First of all, I wasn't crazy about writing, but when I love to read. So when I went to find a book that was on divorce, all of them were written by white males, and I was like, this ain't helping me. I mean, the information is good, but it's not hitting me where I need to be hit. So God spoke just as plainly, write your own book.
Wow.
I was like, nah, child, you kid. I can't do that. But here I am today. I've written 2 books already. But then when
Great
God,
books too.
thank you. So when God speaks, all you got to do is move and he'll make it happen.
That's right.
I was concerned about how I was going to get it published. And then I found this publisher. You make monthly payments till you pay it all, and they'll publish your book. I was like,
Wow.
okay. And the second book just so happened my niece became a publisher, and bam, there you go.
There you
He
go.
works it out. He works it out.
That's it.
Let's talk a
That's
little
it.
bit about I said earlier that your hands are in a lot of different things. How do you balance all of that you have going on? I remember I talked to a preacher once. He says, on this day I do this thing, on this day I do this thing, and on this day I do this thing, so that everything is taken care of. He does ministry one day, he does his personal ministry one day, and he goes sees the sick on one day. How do you navigate all that you have going on?
Absolutely. I would say the very first thing for me is the people who are around me.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell anybody all day, like the people who are on your team can oftentimes make or break the place that you end up walking into. So that's for me, the team around me is absolutely vital. I would say secondly is that for me, priorities are key. Like
Yeah.
having the right priorities. And so what I do is, and I would encourage everyone to do this, is take the time to write down your values. Don't get super extravagant. Write down, I would say, probably 8 or less, 5 or less even. What are the things that mean the most to me? That really mean the most. And then I schedule my values first. And so I can't put my marriage is a value to me, and my wife's time with her gets scheduled last. That doesn't make sense. And so for me, if that's a value, then that goes on the schedule first. And then from there, everything else just forms around it. So for me, 2 big things are the team. I'm big on empowering and delegating and helping to pull things out of people when they don't think it's there. And so so that piece, and then the scheduling those priorities, for me, that's huge, because while some people probably are really good with balance, I realize that I'm not. And so I had to shift the word in my mind to priorities. And so I work those priorities, and it's changed my life. Scheduling my priorities first, and then working everything around those priorities. Yes.
All right. Wow,
Absolutely.
that's fantastic. Michael actually said, you talking right, PA.
Appreciate it, Michael.
Yolanda said, prioritize. Yes. Since we have a little break, would you talk about your services one more time for us? Your website, your businesses.
Absolutely. It is website is Candid, the letter B, Candid, CANDID. That's it right there. BeCandidCO.com. We do our apparel from that site, as well as the book that we released in August. All of it is available there, right there on the site. And I'm gonna make it exclusive here. I love you. Like, you are like, whoo, I love you so much. We got something very, very special coming mid-August. So as long as they're following
October.
on social media, October, see, already October. Mid-October, we are dropping something so amazing. And so that's the sneak peek exclusive there as well. So make sure to follow on, that's it, Instagram and Facebook, to hear all about it. Mid-October.
Yeah. So make sure y'all follow him, y'all. You know he's a man of his word. So if he got something going on, he is definitely going to share it with you. So make sure you follow.
Absolutely.
Let's talk a little bit about fear and trusting God. When we're going after dreams, Sometimes fear can get in the way of trust. Sometimes fear can even get in the way of God, because our
Right.
fear can be so overwhelming. Can you talk a little bit about how we manage the fear versus trusting God, or versus having faith?
Absolutely. I will share this first. Like, I've learned this over the years that my fear of God
Mhm.
is greater than my fear of anything that the enemy tries to throw at me.
Wow.
So for
Wow.
me, it really put fear in its proper place when it is, I am more afraid of not doing what God has called me to do than I am of what can come against me if I try.
Mm.
And so
Wow.
that for me shifted my life, because it's like that fearing him, which is that a different kind of fear, that
Mhm.
reverence, that
Mhm.
awe,
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
I want my life to please you.
Mhm.
That fear set precedence over everything else that flowed from it. And so for me, that really put fear in its place. That way, the
Wow.
other fear, that scary type of fear, while it tries its best to creep in, it never becomes louder in my ear than my fear of who God is and wanting my life to please Him. And so for
Mhm.
me, that shifted everything. Because I realized this. And I hope this is very helpful for everyone who's watching. It's like when it comes to faith, that's it's incredible. I realize this, but the opposite of that, the thing that comes against that, are
Mhm.
doubts. Like,
Mhm.
doubts are what throws us off when it comes to faith. But doubt is rooted in fear. And so when doubt emerges, it often is a sign that you are closer to fulfilling what God has called you to do. Because here's the thing, why
Wow.
would the enemy attack you if you weren't a threat?
Wow.
Because
Come
you were
on
a
now.
threat, he throws
That's
fear.
good. That's
Absolutely.
good. Why would the enemy attack you if you weren't a threat? Come on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. He's
That's
throwing everything he
good.
can. He's trying to get you off course, distract you, deceive you. All it is I've learned this too though. As he throw, I can't stop him from throwing it, right? And so
Yes.
what I do is I make sure those thoughts stay in the right position, because those
Mhm.
things even propel me forward into the place that God has called me to be.
Wow. Wow.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. So
Wow.
even here, this is crazy. Even you have me excited now. Even
Go
when it
ahead.
comes to what he is trying to say, he wouldn't talk to me. He wouldn't try to be loud if I was doing nothing. When you start taking those bold steps and just try, like going after what God's called you to, that's when that upsets the kingdom of the enemy. Because check it out, he's the only one to ever fail to fall away from God's presence and not get a second chance. So as we
Wow.
fulfill what God has called us to do, it's a reminder to him of what he never got a chance to do for himself.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. Come on. You
Absolutely.
preaching. We need to take up an offering. Let me get the plate. Oh, Redonia says it's an indication I'm on the right track. Yes,
That's
yes.
right.
When
That's
doubt
right.
emerges, you're likely more closer to what God is calling you to. Yes, that is really good. Natasha says, say that. What is one thing that you think when fear comes up, do you have like a word or something that you say to yourself, or do you quote the scripture, or how do you when it actually comes into your mind and says you can't do that, how do you battle that?
That's a great question. Fear is a very real thing, and for I
Hmm.
think for anybody to say, "I just get over it every time, it's easy," I don't think that's realistic. For
Mm-mm.
me, when I start hearing those thoughts, there have been times, and even recent times, where I'll hear that, and I have these moments where I'm wrestling and I'm
Hmm.
struggling. Like, man, can I do this? Like, I'm kind of
Hmm.
thrown off for a moment, but I've learned this. So I place things around me that
Yeah.
remind me of what I already heard from the Lord already. And so when those thoughts start coming in, I immediately have these reminders. They're on my phone. They're
Hmm.
everywhere. And when I
Hmm.
see that, it immediately shifts my focus back to where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And so I would encourage people to make sure you post things, like place them in places that you walk past often as constant reminders of who God has called you to be and what God has
Yes.
called you to do.
Yes.
Because what the end, what I've learned about fear is he would try to get us to tie our identity to what we do and what we're trying to accomplish. That way, when that thing seems to get off that we're doing, he can attack our identity. But I've learned this, when I can wrap my identity in who God created me to be and what God has created, put on the inside of me, and that's creating what I do, it totally shifted everything. Because fear is more afraid of you than you are of it.
Wow. Wow, 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 wow. Fear is more afraid of you than you are of it. We just don't know it. We just don't know it.
Yes.
Oh my God.
The only reason why fear is so loud is because fear is not wanting you walk into what God has called you to be. So fears keep getting louder because it's like, I don't want you to do this. It's just doing its job. So if fear is doing its job, are we on our assignment?
That's good right there. That just helped me right. Put that in the comments. Come on. When I can wrap my identity in God to create what I do, it shifts everything. My identity is in God. Wow.
That's it.
Wow. That is good. Cassandra Allen said that's some goodness. Absolutely. Absolutely. I didn't tell you all. If you all have questions, please go ahead and put them in the chat so that Pastor Alex can answer, because he knows all things. Hey, Robin, thank you for tuning in tonight. If fear is doing its job, are we doing our job? I have to tell you, there have been times in my life, Michelle says, fear robs us of our co-creating force. All right, now, there have been times in my life when I was just really overcome. The one of the times that I was really just afraid spitless is when I was first diagnosed with breast cancer. I was like, oh my lamb, honey. And at that time, TBN was big, and Jan Crouch was on talking about how when she was diagnosed with colon cancer, she didn't have any fear. She just knew immediately that God was going to handle it. That was not my testimony. Honey, I was just a basket case. I was like, God, it's supposed to skip a generation. What's going on? I can't believe I was just going through the motions. And eventually, what really helped me is when I decided, okay, I'm gonna trust God more than I trust what man says that I have, more than I trust this thing that's trying to take me out. So I made the decision that I gotta trust God. Yes. Period. Yes. I just gotta trust God. I gotta put my faith. I gotta put all of my eggs in God's basket.
That's right.
That's it. That's what we have to do when it comes to our dreams. We got to put and comes to our destiny. We got to put all of our eggs in his basket and say, okay, right, God, I'm out here. Now where we going? I'm out here. So what's the next move, God? I'm okay. You told me to go to the right. I'm at the right. Now where we going from here? It's like when when God told, was it Moses or Abraham to go to a place called there? I think it was Abraham. He told him to go to a place that he would show him. He didn't even have a name for it. He just told him to get up and start walking. And Moses didn't know where he was going, but he got his butt up and started walking. That's what we have to do. That we have to, when God says, you know what, I need you to go over here, go to the left, and then go to the right. You just got to do it. You got to go over here, go to the left, and then go to the right. Because you never know who God has to meet a need that you have, or who God has to finance your dream.
Yes.
You never know. And I've had I remember when I was getting radiation, this couple from church said, I had to pay copay every time I went. So I had to go Monday through Friday for 6 weeks. They said, we got your copay. I was like, Really? So,
Wow.
I mean, he brings people to meet your needs, but you got to be obedient. You gotta follow his path, not our
Yes.
own,
That's it
not
right
our
there.
own.
That's it. I think something phenomenal about, like, I think your story is so phenomenal. I think your testimony is so
Wow.
incredible. And like, even when you were sharing about Abram, like, can you imagine this? Like, the thought of God told Abram to get out, right? So I was reading that one day. And I was like, help me with this. And it's like, why would he tell him to get out? It's like he had settled in this place,
Mm-hmm.
like in this place that was
Mm-hmm.
not what God had called him to. And so
Mm-hmm.
it sounds rude at first, but it's a push. He tells him to get out. But here's where it messed me up though. He tells him to get out from your country, from
Uh-huh.
your family, and from your father's house. What's crazy is he starts big and he shrinks it each time. Get out of
Yeah.
and this place. And to the
Yeah.
point where all he can take with him is what God has called him to go with him. But if he does not leave that country place, that family, that father's house, if he does
Yes.
not do that, he'll remain in what God calls him out of. I believe
Yes.
God's
Yes.
calling us out of things. I'm calling you
Yes.
out of it. And he said to all of us now, get out. Get
Come
out.
on now.
Get
Get
out.
out. Get out.
Get
Come.
out. Get out.
Danielle says it reminds me of Pastor Chris. Every time he needed something, God sent him to the market where strangers would be waiting. All right.
Wow.
Yeah, right. So it's God. What kind of God would it be for him to send us here to do a thing and not make provision so that the thing can get done? If we're obedient, the thing is going to get done that he sent us
That's
to
right.
do.
That's right.
But the thing is, we have got to be obedient. We have got to be faithful to the thing that He's called us to. I remember talking before about when, and we can't get comfortable in a place. I remember talking about when I was at a job for 18 years. I was there 2 years too long, and so it's
Mm.
almost like God had to force me out because I wouldn't
Wow.
leave. It's you can't become comfortable. You can't become this just feel good right here. I know everybody. I know how things roll here. No, you can't. Don't do like I did. Don't wait 2 years. He had to literally push me out, and I had been there 2 years too long. When
Mm.
God says move, no matter how good it is, how good the money is, how comfortable you are, when it's time to go, you got to go.
You have to
Uh,
go.
yeah, fear will stump your growth. Absolutely.
That's it. That's
Absolutely.
it.
If I would have allowed fear to dictate my behaviors, I never would have written a book. I never would have written a second book. I never would have moved into a house that I've been in for 2 years now that's twice the size of the one I used to have. If I would have allowed fear to dictate my life, because there
That's
was
it.
some like, do you need that much house? Do you can you really afford that?
That right
Well,
there.
I figure if the unbelievers can have a big house, I can have a big house too. God says it's okay.
That is so good. That is so
But
good.
you gotta walk in the direction that he gives you. He
You
may
have
not
to.
tell you to get a big house. He may
Right.
not tell you to move at all. So you can't base your life on what someone else is doing,
That's right.
because
You
that'll
cannot.
mess you up.
It will. It
That will
absolutely
mess
will.
you up.
Hey,
I
can you?
can't. Oh, go ahead.
I say, can you imagine this? And I hope this. I know. Now I know you're the transition guru, right? So this
Oh
is not
well.
anything new for you, right? But can you imagine this? Like, the fact that, I hope this helps somebody. The fact that God would ask something of us,
Hmm.
right, is a
Hmm.
sign of how He sees us, right? So a good example of that. Imagine if I came to you and said, "Hey, can I borrow $1 million?"
Hmm.
Right?
Hmm.
You may say, $1 million. Now I know you got it, so I ain't talking about you putting a check or something. I know you got it. I know that part, right?
Absolutely. Hmm. I
So
got it.
so isn't it
It's just not in my bank account yet.
That's so good. That's so good. Like
Mhm.
the fact that a person asks you for $1 million says that one, they believe you have it, or
Yeah.
two, you have the ability to create it or go get it.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
fact that God is calling us to do something or ask
Mhm.
of it is really a shift in perspective of how he sees us.
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely. So
Yes.
anytime God calls me to do something that I feel is beyond me, it reminds me he wouldn't ask me to do it if I didn't have it in me or the ability to create it every time.
That's amazing. That's good. That's good. That's the same thing with the book. God tells you to write a book or tells me to write a book. If he told you to write it, it's in there.
It's in there.
You got the ability.
That's right. That's right. That's
Come
right.
on. That's good. That's good right
Absolutely.
there. Talk to us a little bit about the PPP.
Yes. This was the so the book is called Think It Be a Live It, but prior to that, God had given me this thing called Pray, Prepare, Pursue. And I heard that and I was like, what does this mean, God? What does this mean? And it came to me regarding like many of us, and you actually shared a little bit about this earlier. Many
Mhm.
of us have prayed about some things, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
sometimes it's a matter of we are praying about it,
Mhm.
but what have we done with what we've prayed for? I believe
Mhm.
there are many prayers that have been answered, but now we're walking in the fear of walking into what we prayed about.
Wow. Okay.
So when it comes to prayer, he then told me about this thing about prepare, which
Mhm.
means we have to prepare our heart, our mind, our spirit, and our hands to be able to handle the weight of what we prayed about. Because we can pray about something and God can say, you know what, yes, go ahead and go for it. But the reality, I believe that many people are still on their knees waiting, but God's already
Mm.
giving you what you need to get up and go for it. And
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
after praying, it is the preparing, putting your hands to work and for going for it. And as you prepare for it, then it can't even stop there. Then it has to be, okay, now that I've prepared, I have to take the first step. And the first step in pursuit of everything that I've been preparing for and
Mhm.
praying about. And so for me,
Wow.
that word pursue is key. Like
Right.
to have that kind of focus to either be all in or to be out, but there being no
Yeah.
in between. I'll never forget, I heard this every day, every single day in the jungle, right? A gazelle and a lion get up. They wake up
Uh huh.
every day. And the
Uh huh.
gazelle wakes up knowing I have to run every single day. And the
Wow.
lion wakes up and says, I have to eat every single day. So the reality is this is that both of them are in pursuit of something, but both of them are going after it with everything that they have. The challenge with us is that we're in that I kind of want it. Maybe I will, maybe I
Wow.
won't. When's the last time you took all your chips and pushed them into the middle of the table and said, I'm going all in on this in full pursuit? That right there is a game changer.
Wow.
Pray, prepare, pursue.
Wow.
Absolutely.
Wow. Push all your chips up to the front.
That's
I'm
it.
all
All in.
in.
No bluff.
Wow.
No bluff. I'm
Wow.
all
Wow.
in.
Wow. 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 Now that's amazing. Mm. Mm. Okay. All right. Can you talk to us a little bit about uh the rejection part? Um,
Ooh,
as I said earlier, when I was writing my first book, I
right.
got a lot of rejection letters saying, you know what, this is a good book, but you sound like you're writing it from an African perspective, African American perspective. I am, I'm
Mm.
black. Um, or or this is not for us right now, but it's a good book, is for someone. But talk to us a little bit of how to stay on course when we get the rejection.
Absolutely. I didn't know how much rejection, how how detrimental it can be, especially when it comes from those who are close to us or
Mhm.
those who we are believing that they're going to believe in what we're sharing with them. And so it's like it's so close to home. And so when that rejection begins to show up, and for me, when it begins to emerge, especially from the people again that I thought would be in with me, when I tell you it cut, oh, it cut. It makes you want to say, you know what? I don't think this can ever work. Like, if they don't believe in this,
Right.
and they're the ones that I trust, they're my village, I definitely can't do this. And I realized this. I thought I was being cut in the sense of I was being hurt. I didn't realize that God was using the rejection to cut away what I didn't need to walk into
Wow.
what he was calling me to. Like, I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Wow.
Even reading about Jesus was rejected in his own hometown, and he has to leave that place because of,
Yeah.
it's not that he couldn't do the miracles, but that their unbelief was too
Yeah.
strong.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
that familiar spirit, it's dangerous. It's
Wow.
dangerous. And so
Mm.
for me, I've learned this. Anytime somebody has rejected me, it's pushed me closer to those who were assigned to me. And that for
Okay.
me changed everything.
Oh,
Changed everything.
okay. Oh, wow. So what did you
Absolutely.
do with your emotions, while you were waiting for those people that were assigned to you? What did you do with those emotions that for the ones that said, you know what, that ain't right. You don't know what you're doing. What the people that you thought were going to be for you, they were not. What did you do with those emotions? How did you get past it and love them anyway?
Great question. Um, I, there are some, and maybe this is their story, who say they heard that and they left those people behind. They forgot about it. They moved on. For me, in total honesty, I hear their voices every day.
Wow.
I hear it. You can't do that.
Hmm.
It's no way.
Hmm.
No,
Hmm.
it's like a thorn in my flesh, constantly. It's like a thorn that keeps like poking me. Like I still hear. I can, in total honesty, right? I'll give y'all the total truth here. I still see their faces all the time.
Wow.
I still remember how they hung up on me. In fact, I catch some of their text messages every now, not often, every now and then I read it, not to get back at them, but as
Yeah.
fuel to the fire that says, all these people rejected me, but despite all of that, God is still using this jacked up kid from Middle Georgia to reach people all around the world. That blows me away. That blows me away.
Yes,
Absolutely.
honey. In God just absolutely amazing. When
Yes.
he uses me for his kingdom, I'm just blown away that you pick me. You me? You
Me?
I just and people see me now and they don't know what I was. They don't know where
Ooh.
I've been. They don't know how I got to my now. I ain't always been saved. That's all I tell you, and you can take it from there. But God, He still uses me. It is absolutely amazing to me. And when
Yes.
I think that I am at a place of, okay, God ain't gonna do it, He comes through every single time. It is
Incredible.
absolutely amazing. Y'all, we have been on here 55 minutes. I'm gonna need your questions because we getting ready to log off. It's dinner time. We getting ready to log off. This has been so good. Um,
Wow.
this has just been thank you for being so open and so transparent about your walk to your dream and walk to your destiny. I so appreciate that. Tell us where your churches are so that we'll know how to get in, how to go there. Tell us if you're doing Facebook lives or how you're handling your church now.
Absolutely. Just by faith in God and use the practicality of wisdom, we're still fully online right now. However, we are doing outdoor experiences. And so we're on both the north side of Atlanta and on the south side of Atlanta now. So our area on the south side is called Life Revolution. That's in Stockbridge, Georgia. And then on the north side, it's called Fresh Start, and that is in Duluth, Georgia. And so God has expanded that and grown that. It's been amazing. So we're online at both locations, and then also doing outdoor experiences at both as well. And so they can find all the info on Facebook or Instagram as well.
Good, good. All right. So, Michael, you have a question. I'm going to need you to type that question in again because I cannot find it. Michael's Stizo says, "Amen." I'm sorry, I butchered your name. Please forgive me. I don't know which Michael. Oh, Michael says, "What motivates you when you are in your downtime?" Question for PA.
What motivates me when I'm in my downtime?
Uh-huh.
Great question. Great question. So I've learned this to be a protector of my downtime. My yes, for a while, my yes kept me from having downtime, honestly. And it was hurting people who were around me who I really love.
Uh-huh.
And so
Uh-huh.
for
Uh-huh.
me, what motivates me in downtime is knowing that rest is needed to fully walk into what God has called me to walk into. Like
Wow.
God could have created everything in one day, but
Mm-hmm.
he took one day to rest. And so for me to know that while I'm resting, I'm being rejuvenated, being refreshed, getting what I
Mm-hmm.
need to move forward. For
Mm-hmm.
me,
Mm-hmm.
that's motivation. Because here's the thing I learned this too. There are some people who are not walking into the dream. I hope this helps somebody. I hope it does.
Okay,
There are some
come on
people,
with it.
right, who are not walking into their dreams. It's not because they're not talented enough. It's not because they need more talent or need more gifting or what have you. It's simply that they're tired.
Wow.
Like that's the only thing keeping them back. And so when I learned that rest is a part of a healthy rhythm, that motivates me. Absolutely.
Wow. Wow. Danielle says rest is needed to fully walk into what I'm called to. Amen. Amen. I have learned to protect my downtime. Good, good, good.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, you all, before we log off? You have anything? Then here's another one. What motivates you when the people in your circle don't see the vision or doesn't support it?
What motivates me when the people
Mhm.
around me don't see
Don't
the vision?
support it, don't see the vision.
Absolutely. Twofold here. One is for those who are not a part of like my team that I share things with often, when they don't see it, honestly, I'm just being totally honest here. When they don't see it at this point of where I am in my life, I just let it go and know that they'll see the evidence sooner or later, right? For
Mm-hmm.
them. Now,
Mm-hmm.
for
Mm-hmm.
sometimes for those who are on my team, those who are helping me to work it and fulfill it, sometimes they don't always see it either, right? So here's what I do is I'm big on we have to give people space to
Mm-hmm.
ask questions and
Mm-hmm.
process the magnitude of what we are sharing with them. Because God gave you the vision, not
Yeah,
them.
come on now.
So
Come
they
on.
don't always see it. So we have to be patient with people. We have to be here this too. We have that's a part of big thing. We have to be clear. We
Mm-hmm.
have to give clarity because many times some people are not rocking with you because you're not clear enough.
Wow.
So they're
Wow.
confused about what you want them to do. And so when
Mm-hmm.
you rock with clarity, it brings also people into agreement and alignment with what you're doing to move forward.
Yes, that's good. That's good. That's good. And then again, there may be people who are in your life for a season that
Absolutely.
they may not be able to walk with you in that particular part. They may
Absolutely.
just need to be a cheerleader on a little distance. or or as Danielle said, I can show them better than I can tell them at this point.
Absolutely. So
uh,
what's amazing
Go
about that
ahead.
comment from Danielle is like I think the comment on by Danielle is amazing because some of us are wasting needed energy for the journey. We're
Hmm.
burning excess fuel trying to convince people. So
That's good.
we're wasting energy that could be going towards leading and guiding and trying
Yes.
to get people to come with us. You know this already. You burn more fuel when you're carrying weight that's unneeded.
Yes. You come on, and make your heart work harder and just everything. Yes. Wow. That's really good. That's good. All right, we're going over it. Any other questions? You know we got to end. You know he has to go take some time, play with the babies before it's bedtime.
Absolutely.
Any other questions, you all? I'm so excited. Make sure you check out his website. I'm gonna put that back up for just a second. Make sure you check out his website, and don't forget that he has a big announcement coming. So make sure you check that out and follow him on Facebook and Instagram. Make sure you do that because his announcement is coming, and you're gonna want to be a part of that. Michael actually said this segment calls for an offering. You're right, Michael. You are right. I want to go back and take some notes because I feel like I'm not going to remember everything. I would encourage you all to listen to it again because I'm sure you didn't get everything the first time. Wow. Listen to it again because Pastor Alex gave some great nuggets. Great nuggets.
I'm thankful. I'll tell you this. Can I share one more thing with you real quick? I want everyone, I think what you're doing here is incredible. I want everyone to know about this, like who will see this. For me, you're one of those people that over many years has constantly supported and pushed and challenged and all that. I just constantly sown into my life. So what you are doing with transition and coaching and leading, but I'll say that it is pivotal for this time period. Like I had to say that publicly. Like it's so needed. It's so needed. So we thank God for you. We really do.
Thank you so much. And I just want you to know I'm just walking on his word. That's and he opens doors. It just blows my mind at how he opens doors, and I'm able to share, and people are able to come on. I want to say a big shout out to Bridget. Thank you so much for joining tonight, Bridget. I hope this helped you. Bridget is one of the girls that I grew up with in Augusta. We used to sing on the same choir. We way back. You
can sing about that. Oh, you can sing too. You're just multi-talented, multi-gifted.
Well, okay. Thank you. But I just think sometimes we get stuck in transition. Sometimes when we lose a loved one or when we're going after purpose, we get stuck and we don't know how to move forward. We live in the past a whole lot. And I just think that there's so much more to life than living in the past. There's so much more that God wants us to do. I think, as I told you earlier, I think not only do you need salvation for your soul, but you need salvation for your pocketbook, for your mind. I think you need to be stable in your mind. You need to be stable in your finances. You need to be stable in your walk with God. It's a whole a whole package. It's just not one thing. I don't think God would save me and then just have me just to live a mediocre life. There's so much more. And there's so much more that he's put in all of us that he wants us to do. We, as I said before, we all have purpose. We all have a destiny. We all have dreams. And if God placed those dreams in us, then God will help us get those dreams out. Some of us can't get past things that happened to us when we were younger. We're stuck there. And I think that's why it's so important for me, I think, to talk about transition, to talk about how do you actually forgive someone that hurt you? How do you get past your parent dying, your mom dying at an early age? How do you get past or how do you move forward in your child dying? Not next week, but week after next, I will have a lady on that will be talking about moving forward after her daughter dies. As a matter of fact, it's Teresa Blunt. She was with us when we were in Augusta, and she's going to talk about how she moved forward after Candace died. Candace was a special needs child, and I think Candace was in her 20s when she died. And her mom is going to come and talk about moving forward. I don't think you can ever get over it, but you can move forward. You can and that's with anything. And people think that, once you get married, that, everything is hunky-dory, but now you got to walk that thing out. You're no longer single. That's a transition. You've moved into a marriage. You moved in with another person from a different world, and y'all coming together and gonna have a house.
Yes.
So there are some things that you need to do. So this transition is just everywhere, and I am honored that God would allow me to take on the subject. And I just really enjoy it. But I want to thank you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you and your family.
Love you.
This has been wonderful, absolutely wonderful. Do you have any final thoughts before we close out?
I'll tell you, my final thought would just be, if you're uncertain about why you are where you are, understand that your responsibility is simply to steward well where you are. And if you do that well, this will lead to that. This will lead to that. Just steward well right where you are. And when the chapter turns, you'll find, wow, this led me right to that place. And now I can see there a little bit better.
Amen. 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 Thank you. I wanted to, before we leave, I want to put up your website one more time. I want to put up your Instagram one more time. And also, I want to put up my website. I didn't put that up tonight.
Yes.
You are free to go on there. And you are also, I would encourage you to follow me on Instagram. And you know that I'm on Facebook. I don't think we're going to meet next week with a conversation, but I think we're going to take a break since kids are out Thursday and Friday. I think I'll be out too Thursday and Friday. And I think now, but just look at Facebook and I'll let you know. I'm going to bombard you. If we're going to have a speaker on, I'll let you know. But the following week for sure is going to be Teresa Blunt, and she's going to be talking about moving forward after the death of her daughter. Wow. Thank you again so much, sir. I love you. Tell Leah I said thank you. Absolutely. And I'll talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Love you.
Love you.